The last part of podcast 1 is about the solar system. We've already mentioned that the sun, this enormous body in our sky which gives out light, is the centre of our solar system. And around our solar system we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 planets. And also we have got asteroids, which are lumps of rock and dust, which also orbit the sun. They're considered to be too small to be planets. And also we have various comets and so on in the solar system. So we divide the solar system into 2 main parts. The first part, this part here, are the first 4 planets, and they are called the rocky planets. They are traditionally much, much smaller than the outer planets. These 4 are called the gaseous giants, or they're gas planets, and they're much, much bigger. The order of them is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto away out at the edge. Because Mercury is so close to the sun, it's very hot, but its time of orbit is quite short. In fact, it takes 88 days to go around the sun. That's because the radius of its rotation is much smaller than some of the outer planets, and therefore the circumference it travels around the sun is much less. Therefore, Venus, which is the next planet out, although it is larger, it also takes a longer time because it has a larger circumference to cover. It takes 243 days. Now that's very similar to Earth, both in size and in the time of its orbit. Earth is 356. A big difference is, however, that Venus is a very, very acidic planet. It contains lots of sulfur dioxide in its atmosphere, and it is therefore very, very acidic, and there's absolutely no way human life could survive on it. Next planet out is the Earth, and we've mentioned that, the only planet at the correct distance to receive enough heat and light from the sun to sustain life. Next one out then is Mars, and it's traditionally considered to be the red planet. The reason is because it's got an awful lot of iron, which is rusted, so an awful lot of rust in its soil, which gives it a reddish-orange appearance. Mars is a planet which scientists have always been working on to try and find some evidence of life. Then we have an asteroid belt, lumps of rock and gas, which orbit the sun. Next one out, and this is the start of our gas giants, is Jupiter, and it's the largest planet. And you can see this enormous crater on Jupiter's surface. The crater is actually a hurricane or movement of gas. So it's called the giant red spot. So this is the next planet out. It's enormous. It would have a gravity on its surface of 2.5 times that of the Earth. So you would find it very difficult to walk. In fact, you couldn't walk at all because it is a gas and you'd just be pulled straight to the centre. Next one out is Saturn. Saturn is very well known because of its rings around it. Now those rings are actually millions and millions and millions of bits of gas or rock and dust which are circulating or orbiting Saturn. Neptune is the next one out, and again it also has rings. And then, the next one out is Uranus, and the next one out then is Neptune. And very often they're considered to be similar size, and they sometimes call them twins. Last one out there is Pluto. And Pluto's very, very small compared to the rest. And its orbit is slightly different. It doesn't just orbit around the sun, but it actually orbits in a different orientation. Okay, so for years scientists have debated, is it a planet or is it not a planet? And a couple of years ago they demoted it to not being a planet, but you still learn it as one of the 9 planets. All of the planets are kept in their orbit around the sun by gravity, and gravity keeps all those planets in their place. And they're never all lined up at the same time like that. They're very rarely lined up like that. Although some of them are visible from the Earth, and we would sometimes see Venus, Mars or Venus, we would sometimes see. you have to learn the order of the planets in the solar system. And we have a mnemonic for helping you do that. And the mnemonic is my very educated mother just showed us 9 planets. And those, of course, stand for, and you can learn this, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. As you go further out, needless to say, because of the fact that you are so much further from the Earth, from the Sun, you find that the years get longer and longer and longer. So the Earth's year is 365 and a quarter days, but that of Pluto, which is way out here, is 248 years, Earth years. So it's 248 times 365 and a quarter. And obviously it is much, much longer distance to travel, of course, around the Sun.